Evening, guys. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream with yours truly, Alan Scouser. First off, I'd just like to say it's very, very nice to be back with you all. It's been a while since we've done a solo. Hope you're all okay, and I hope you're all looking forward to Christmas and that, and hope you all get some good presents and that. Movies primarily, of course, yeah. So yeah, as I say, great to be back, and looking forward to that. I'm going to be on for about 2 hours, guys, which is, I think that's about right for me, like in that, So, but yeah, as I say, it's great to be back. I've started using the internal laptop camera, and from my angle, it looks quite good. But I always say this, guys, as a preamble to any live stream, if there's any problem at all with either visually or orally, if you can't hear me properly, let me know. Because I don't want to go on rabbiting on, and I don't want it to be a bad experience for you all. So please let me know, guys. I'm not averse to even a little bit of criticism about the way, I'm conducting the stream. But as I say, you know what I mean. Anyway, but as I say, it's great to be back in that, got a couple more movies in today, which I'm put away for Christmas Day. And I'll probably do me pickups just after Christmas. So yeah. Okay then, guys. So I hope you're all well in that, And all right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go along to me right here. I'm just going to look to see how many people are currently in the room. So we've got Jeff Joffy up first. Are you okay, Jeff? Updates. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make the live stream tonight, but I'll be sure to watch the recording. Have a Merry Christmas, Alan, and your family and friends, and to your subscribers. No worries, Jeff. Yeah, I quite understand. I mean, sometimes I can't make it like to streams and that, but I can watch it back later on and that, or join another one. But yeah, don't worry about it, Jeff. I hope you have a nice time and that, don't get too drunk. But yeah, don't worry about it, mate. Yeah, that's it. There's always the catch up. And we've got Brian here, Brian Gilson. Hi, Alan. How are you? I'm not too bad, thanks, Brian. Hope you're good as well. Hope you and everybody in the chat are good. Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah. Brian saying audio and video are good. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I'm always whenever I do like a live stream, be it solo or on one of my fellow YouTubers, as a guest, I'm always very mindful of how I come across. Live and that, both visually and sound wise as well, but that's good to know. But as I say, I can't stress this enough. If there's any issues at all, I don't want it to be a bad experience for you guys. Like when I first started doing YouTube, I was quite new to it all, and that, there was a couple of buttons like, I didn't realize what you had to press to do certain things, but I'm gradually getting there, So so hopefully by after Christmas I'll be an expert. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, it's great to be back in that. I've missed the lives and that, and but yeah, it's real good to be back with us all. Right, we've got Vampire Jack. Almost forgot. Well, you're here now, so everything's hunky dory. And we've got Brian Gilson to Jeff Jock. We hope you and your family have a great Christmas. Yeah, I'd only echo that sentiment. Yeah. We've got sorry guys, Vampire Jack again. Just finished Sleigh Bells. Great fun Christmas movie. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Is it as good as Silent Night, Deadly Night, Vampire Jack? I'm always on the lookout, for a good Christmas horror movie. I love me Christmas horror movies. Of course, like it goes without saying, over the years there's some real bad ones, but there's also, by the same token, there's also been some real good ones. So yeah. Well, any of you guys, like if you watch the Christmas movie, what you think I might have seen, please let me know. I'll check it out. Because I'll have to be honest with you guys, this year I'm a little bit scant on the Christmas movies. But yeah, so let me know if there's any new ones and that I could check out. Cheers. I see they've made a remake, haven't they, of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Whether it'll be as good as the original remains to be seen, guy. Because I've found like 99.9% of the time, when you do a remake of a classic, it's usually crap. But that's just my opinion. I got that. I'll tell you what I did get the other day. It's not a Christmas horror movie, The Jester, which I did do a review of a couple of months ago. I thought it was a pretty average movie, but I've seen the sequel, Jester 2. So I thought to myself, I'll check that out, you know, because what I'd done, I'd forgotten the Jester, parts of what happened in that. So I got it cheap in HMV, the original, and I got the Jester too. So I might have a Jester double bill over the weekend, yeah. So, but I believe it's better than the original. But then again, as I say, like, it's just a matter of opinion, isn't it? So I'll see what it's like anyway. And we've got Steb the Fair 8236. Hey, I'm quite new to the channel, so not seeing many videos, but what is your favourite horror movie and the worst one you've ever seen? Oh, God, that's a difficult one, that. There's so many horror movies I've seen over the years, like, you know, I've really enjoyed them, regardless classics. My favourite horror movie, well, if I was really pushed, it'd have to be a handful. I would say, black and white wise, I would say Frankenstein, 1931, starring Boris Karloff, because that was the first horror movie I ever watched on my nan's old black and white telly, and that's the movie that got me into horror. So I would say, like, Universal wise, I would say Frankenstein, Karloff. Moving on to the 50s, the late 50s, I would say, I want to give two actually to it. It's neck and neck, really. It's The Curse of Frankenstein, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, and also Dracula, again starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I actually watched Curse of Frankenstein the other night, and I'm really pleased with it. You know, the new 4K transfer. But I had a bit of a problem with it last night, because when I put it on to watch the actors, it got stuck. It got stuck on it. You know, when it starts off with a trailer, it behaved very strangely, because it started off just showing a trailer over and over again. So I took it out. I thought there might be a little bit of muck on it. So I wiped it, put it back in, and still wouldn't work. But I did get the whole move out of it. So I don't know if you guys have had similar problems with it. I got the standard version. So if any of you guys have had similar problems with The Curse of Frankenstein, let me know. Yeah, but as I say, getting back to my all-time favourites horror movies, yes, I'd say Frankenstein, Karloff, 1931, the two Hammer, Dracula, Curse of Frankenstein from 1957, and Dracula starring the late great Christopher Lee from 1958. And then moving on, I would say I've got to throw an anthology movie in. I would throw in Tales from the Crypt. That's my number one favourite. Horror anthology. I love that movie, particularly the one with Peter Cushing in. You know, really sad, that one. You know, Arthur Grimsdyke and that. But yeah, there's been so many great horror movies over the years. I can roll some up now. The Omen, God, Halloween, of course, Friday the 13th, the original, The Fly. Been so many. Now getting on to me worst, horror movie. But if you've been watching my channel, you know I do tend to have a bit of a rant every now and then, sprinkled with some humour to lighten the proceedings. If I don't like a movie, I will say so in no uncertain terms. But as I say, you know, if you're familiar, if you've been a subscriber for a while, and you're familiar with what, you know, when I start doing my censorious monologues, you know exactly, you know what I mean. But worst horror movies, oh gosh, I wasn't too keen on well, I hated the Blair Witch Project. I didn't like that at all. It did not appeal to me. I could not understand the hype. It was such an overrated movie, the bloody jerky camera scenes and that, you know. Don't Look Now, thought was overrated. I didn't like that either. But I'd say there's been hundreds of ones I've watched since I bought me DVD player, my Blu-ray player, which I've completely forgotten. Really bad ones. I mean, really bad ones, you know. I thought to myself, the producer's got a bloody cheek calling them a horror movie and that, you know. But yeah, there's been loads and that. But as I say, my favourite ones are the Hammer, the Universal. I like Tygon as well. They've done some pretty good ones, you know. But yeah, but so many bad ones. I think what these modern horror movies, guys, there's too many cardboard cutout characters in them, you know, too many teenagers acting the ghosts, you know, which I bloody hate. I really do. Once I see a movie that's got bloody teenagers in acting the ghost, I go, so here we go. I'm in for the torture ride here, you know. And sometimes they end up turning the bloody thing off because I can't take any more of that crap. You know, they just act like total imbeciles, you know. But yeah, a lot of teenagers in these American horror movies as well. And the same old thing with a lot of them, you know, they go into the woods, they have a drink, they have a bonk or two. Oh, here, missus. And you know what I mean? You get a mass killer in the woods and that, you know. But yeah, you can't beat, you know, Universal, Hammer, Amicus, studios like that. They'll always be in our #1 horror movies. Right, and we've got Vampire Jack, and he's saying, I rewatched Anna and the Apocalypse again yesterday. Gets better with each bluing. I think you mean viewing, don't you? I haven't seen that one, DJ. I'll have to check that one out. Is that kind of like a spoof? Is it that one? I've seen the trailer of it. Like I'll have to check it out. Watched a good horror movie a couple of weeks ago. It was really good. Daughters of Darkness, really good one it was. Yeah, actually done a review of that on my channel. If you like Hammer and you like your foreign vampire movies, check out Daughters of Darkness. It's a great one. Yeah, fantastic. Stats at the fair 823. So yeah, I only keep movies I like in the collection. Same here. I'm not keep them. I listed that Blue Amiga on eBay. The Jose D'Amato film. Wasn't a fan. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, I'm alien to that one. We've got X-File 2708. Evening, Alan. You okay, buddy? Those pesky, annoying teenagers. I've got nothing against teenagers in general. To be fair, it's just the way that they're portrayed in these 10 a penny modern American horror movies now. These low budget ones in particular. I think the American horror movie producers are more guilty of it than the British ones. Usually, the British ones have got like mature people in them, like albeit a lot of young people. But then they seem to be. That's just my viewpoints anyway. I don't know what you guys think. The Americans seem to go to more excesses when they have a lot of teenagers and acting soft and that, which I think I think that's damaged the horror genre. If you ask me, put too many bloody teenagers in, because you don't root for them, guys. I mean, I don't anyway. I don't give I don't give an F what happens to them and that. I think they're just basically put in the cannon fodder, if you ask me, to sort of like pray for the killer, the monster or whatever, But yeah, I think they played a big part. The teenager in trouble trope, sort of like devaluing horror movies, if you like, making them less scary and that. But that's just my opinion and that. Yeah, but I do know a lot of people do echo what I say about the teenagers. And we've got Set at the Fair again, Joe. Vampire Jack, Christmas zombie musical. Oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any of them. Christmas zombie musical. My favourite zombie movie is the Hammer one, The Plague of the Zombies. I think that's a great one, that. And the other favourite one is the original Night of the Living Dead, with the George A. Romero one, where they're all trapped in a house. I think that's great. I got that on 4K a couple of weeks ago. Really good one, that. Yeah. So yeah, but I wasn't too keen. I'm going to be slayed here by some fans. I know. Wasn't too keen on the Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Didn't like them at all. He didn't do anything for me. But I do know a lot of people like them. But that's just my opinion. I prefer the original Night of the Living Dead. But at the other ones, they didn't just. I watched them a couple of times, and it's a bit like The Thing. Watched that a couple of times, The Thing, and it doesn't do anything for me at all, guys. I don't know about you. Yeah, I've used like The Thing. I know it isn't a hugely popular movie, but yeah, I've watched it a few times now, guys, and haven't kept it in the collection. So, but that's just my opinion anyway. And we've got Brian's Horror Movies for Life. Hey, Alan, you okay, Brian? Nice to see you. Nice. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're well. Hope you're looking forward to Christmas. And we've got Brian again, X-Files 2708. Hi, enjoy your channel. Congratulations on completing your AFF. Brian again. 101 American Genre Archive Blu-ray collection. Yeah, good label. Agfar good as well. Vampire Jack. Also rewatch Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, as that's a Christmas movie. I haven't seen that one. So. Well, I hope you saw those people have seen it. You enjoyed my little humorous slant on the the 12 Days of Christmas, and a box set of Christopher Lee. Yeah, I did my best to reach the low tones, but you know, you can't take Christopher Lee off, can you? You know, he had such an unforgettable deep baritone voice, didn't he? But it got good feedback, that video. So I just might do one for New Year, which I absolutely hate. It's my most hated day of the year, New Year's Eve. Yeah, I might do a skit of that, but watch this space anyway. Brian Gilson, Krampus is a really good Christmas horror film. Now, I can't really get into that one, Brian. I wasn't really a fan of it, but I do know other people like it, you know. But yeah, it wasn't for me, that one, Krampus. But as I say, that's got its fans. So yeah, one man's meat is another man's poison, isn't it? Yeah. So I tell you what did arrive, guys, this week for me. The Jack Palance movie Craze from 1974. That's a fantastic one. That if you haven't seen it and if you like 70s horror, check out Craze. It's basically Palance plays this the titular Craze character of the film. He's in the antique business. I'm trying not to give too much away, but he's in the antique business, and he's got this idol, this little warrior, voodoo doll thing. And what he does to gain wealth, you know, to boost his business, he sacrifices girls to it in the most bloody ways imaginable. So if you haven't seen 88 Films, have done a lovely edition with a slipcover. So if you haven't seen Craze, I highly recommend that one. It's a great one. It's got a good rewatchability factor as well. Michael Jason plays the police inspector. He's a very good actor in Michael Jason. He's very, very serious in that. But Diana Dawes is in it as well. She has a cameo role. But yeah, check out Craze. It's a great one. Yeah, 88 Films. They're really knocking it out of the park with these these releases. You know, so got some great ones in that. You know, the Boris Karloff one, the Scouser'S. You know, the Black Torments. You know, fantastic. Really, I'm looking forward to more releases from it. 88 Films. Vampire Jack 10, Krampus is great. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, everybody to their own taste, you know. As I say, we can't all like the same things. If we did, the world would be a pretty boring place, wouldn't it? But yeah, I do know. I did make a couple of those Krampus movies. I think some of them really bad, you know. But yeah, that's fine. You know, as I say, a lot of people do like it. So if any of you guys ordered anything, you're waiting for anything to come, you know, you'd like to share with us and that, you know, any horror films, what you think I mightn't have seen, and you know, you'd like to recommend, yeah. This is what I see it for. This is what I see it for, guys. It's not just about me waffling on. It's about you guys as well. You know, speak up and sort of say, recommend some good horror films and that. You know, don't be averse to if you think it's not going to suit me. Don't be averse to to not say anything about. You know, just let us know. You know what your thoughts about that, and I'll check it out. So I'll check any horror movie out, and that. You know, even in the found footage genres. If a lot of people have said it's good, I'll check it out. You know, I don't know what automatically put it in stone that I won't check out. If it's a found footage, I won't put it in stone. I'm not going near that. It's a found footage. I'll check it out. Like I checked out Creep, and I thought that was pretty good. That I didn't like the TV series. Have any of you guys seen Creep? Basically about this guy. He's gonna die in a couple of months, and he wants this video photographer. He wants him to come to his house and video his last couple of months and that, you know, for his son and that. But he's a bit of a weirdo, you know. That's all I'm going to say about it and that, you know. But I thought it was pretty good, you know. I didn't like Creep 2. I didn't like that at all. But and the series was a bit meh, you know. But the first one's very good, yeah. And as I say, I don't like found footage, but I highly recommend that one, Creep. Brian's saying 88 Films are releasing Don't Open Till Christmas on Blu-ray. Yeah, I've already got that one. It's a great one. I love that one. Don't Open Till Christmas. Yeah. So I'll pass on that one because, as I say, I've already got that one. But it's a great little Christmas movie, that. And we've got sorry guys, just froze a bit there. Vampire Jack's asking me, did you ever check out the Wreck franchise, Al? And Creep is cool. I did. I had the box set. I had the box set of Wreck. The first one was okay, but didn't like the others in it. so I got rid of it. Yeah, first one was okay, but as I say, the other two left a lot to be desired. Yeah, Creep is cool. Yeah, as is the other Creep as well, where she's trapped on the railway. She's trapped on the railway platform, isn't she? And they're like a monster, like, and that really dig down in the bowels. It's a great one. That a lot of people get though. A lot of people get them confused, don't they? Brian saying, I've heard Shelby Oaks is really good. Yeah, I've heard a couple of murmurings about that. Shelby Oaks. I'll have to check that out. There's one horror movie, guys, I wouldn't mind getting around to watching, but I've heard mixed reviews about it. It's called Bring It Back. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that. So I might check that one out as well. I've heard a lot of good things about Sinners as well. You know, don't really know whether I like that one because I've seen a few trailers of it and I thought, I don't know whether I like that. But as I say, you know, it's not written in stone that I'm not going to go anywhere near a horror movie. I might try it out. I might rent it, you know, just to see what it's like. Because I must admit, like I have been a little bit, what's the name? I've been a bit careless when it comes to getting intrigued by the covers of movies and that, you know, and I've gone into HMV and I thought that looks good and that, you know. But then there's the old saying, isn't it? All the glitters is not gold. You know, a movie can have a striking cover, look really good, and that, you know, really sort of like simulate you sort of like your urge to buy it. But then when you watch it now, you think, oh, what a bloody washout, and that's such lovely cover as well, and great actors and that. That's happened to me many times, and especially when I've been to Asda, when they've had the $6.99 and $7.99 DVDs on a Monday. You know, I had the covers hit my eye, and I was, I'll try that out and that, you know, because I'm not a member of any rental companies at the moment, so it's an automatic thing for me. But I might go back and join Amazon Prime at some stage and that, you know, because I do like the free delivery. You know, I think that's a pretty cool feature. That, so who knows, in the new year I might go back and rejoin Prime. Stress at the fair. Some films I want to see are Strange Harvest. I haven't seen that one. Trauma. I haven't seen that. And Stream. Blu-rays are priced super high and not on Prime. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I think some of the movies are overpriced, if you ask me, especially the 4Ks and that. But I think Second Sight are doing a fantastic job. You know, I was a couple of people at that, a couple of YouTubers at that Possession, the big bulky box set. I saw that movie a couple of years ago, and I wasn't really over the moon with it. I thought there was a lot of talk in it, and he seemed to spend a lot of the time, you know, shouting their heads off, you know, shouting and bawling at each other. And I don't even remember the ending, to be honest. But when I saw that edition and that, I thought to myself, I wonder if I should give it another go, you know, even if I just buy the standard edition, you know. So I'm still on the fence with that one, Possession. But yeah, it didn't really stick in my mind, guys, as a sort of horror movie that, you know, I've got to watch again and again, you know. So, but yeah, who knows? I might get this. I might get the standard edition. I haven't decided yet. Vampire Jack, talking of Creep, the Subway one. Is he remaking that one? Is he? Oh God, I bet it won't be as good as the original. As I said, like, you know, well, I've said many times, when he start remaking classic horror movies, they're never as good. They're never as good as the original. I don't think so, anyway. Very rare, you know. You get it, you know, as good as the original. So, see what we got next. Sets at the fair. Are you a fan of the Italian horror films? Very much so. Yeah, very much so. Got a couple of books on them. And the extreme horror, Martyrs. I bought Martyrs the other week, the extreme one. I haven't watched it yet. The American one was okay, but I haven't watched the extreme one, so I'm looking forward to watching that one, the Second Sight one. Yeah, that Inside was a pretty brutal one, wasn't it? Oh God, with the girl, yeah, she wants a baby, and she breaks into this girl's apartment, and oh God, what she puts her through. That's a good one, that. Really good one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out Martyrs, the original. It's really brutal. Yeah, but as I said, Second Sight, they're really knocking it out of the park with these big bulky special editions. You know, really long may they continue as well. Love Second Sight. I don't know what you guys think, but I've heard or know anything, but I've heard Scream Factory are going into liquidation. I don't know how true it is. I've heard, murmurings like online and Screen Factory, like, they're in the last stage basically. So I don't really know what's going on there. But if any of you guys can enlighten me, please do. It'd be a shame, like, if they did go under, because they're a fantastic label. They really are, But let's hope they don't. I hated it when Network went under, went to liquidation. They released some fantastic titles. The old comedies, Man About the House, the Likely Lads. I've got all them. Police, and some old British classics and that. It's a great shame. They had a great library, Network, and that. It's they're getting more and more harder to find some of their the main titles. But yeah, I'd like to see them make a return. One, it's very rare, isn't it, guys, when anything goes under? It's the same with stores and that, like Debenhams and Woolies. It's very rare they make a comeback. We in Birkenhead, where I live, we lost quite a few stores and that, and really wish they'd come back and that. Marks and Spencer's. We had the HMV for a while, and it closed down. That was handy, that, when he couldn't make it to Liverpool. So the nearest one now to me is Liverpool. But yeah, it's a great shame. Like, it's some of these big companies are just going under. Like, yeah. So let the fingers crossed, like, some of them come back. And I know a lot of people would love to see the return of Woolies, me included. Yeah, if only for the mixed sweets and that. We used to love them. The mixed assorted sweets and that, and the record store as well. Yeah, love to see Woolies come back. Vampire Jack is saying Sinners is fantastic. Oh, I'll let you off with the pun. I like a good pun. Yeah, I might try it, as I say, And we've got X-File 2708 again saying, did you see Calvert is getting a release on Arrow in March? No. Very good, albeit a bit messed up film. No, I'll have to check that one out. Calvert. And yeah, State of the Fair again. Yes, Screen Factory isn't no more. Oh God, that's a shame, isn't it? They go under another name now, but I forgot what they are called now. Hence why the prices are shooting up. Oh God, that's a shame. That look, they had some great titles. Screen Factory, got a couple of their Frankenstein and Dracula ones, and great company. Very sad in that, but let's hope another company fills their shoes and that. As I said, I mentioned before, Second Sight are doing a good job. Agfar, 88 Films are all doing a great job, and of course you mustn't forget Arrow as well. Shame that. Brian's saying, I've heard it got bought by a firm that favours streaming, and they are laying people off and are restructuring the company, but hopefully they keep it going. Yeah, fingers crossed, yeah. Vampire Jack saying Weapons is pretty damn good too. You see that one? I know I said I'm contemplating maybe renting it and that. I might even buy it, like, because I've heard a lot of people saying it's good. So yeah, I might just be tempted to buy it or rent it. X-File 2708 says Calvert is a Belgian film. Think TCM mixed with Deliverance, right? It's ages since I saw Deliverance. I've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The big bulky Second Sight edition. I love that one, the original. I like the remake as well, but I do prefer the original, the gritty one from 1974. Oh, what a film that is! I don't think any of the others have come up to it, guys. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The part two, they put too much bloody humour in. I'm surprised how many horror movie sequels have been ruined by bloody humour and that, and stupid plots. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they can't keep them. And Megan's another example, but not really ruined by Megan 2. I'm referring to not really ruined by humour, but more like making her like kind of a superhero at the expense of a horror, the horror side to it. Which I was going to get Megan 2, but when I found out she was going to be a kind of a bloody superhero battling this other robot, and I thought, oh no, I'll give that a miss. But if they make a third one, let's hope they go back to the horror story, the horror narrative. Fingers crossed anyway. X-Files saying Calvert is a Belgian film. I think TCM mixed with Deliverance, right? Some of the foreign horror movies, guys, are better than the American and British ones. You know, some real good ones. Brian's saying, but they are still releasing films right now under the label on the Groove website. I'll have to check that out. Cheers, Brian. Vampire Jack, TCM2 took a couple of watches to click. Yeah, as I say, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, I didn't like the humor narrative. I didn't like the road they went down with that, you know, making it kind of like a spoof thing. I don't know why they do that, you know, guys. They have a good, they start off with a good solid horror movie that's really serious and that, you know. And even the second Terrifier film, although I love the Terrifier treble, I didn't like the part in the second where he put him in like a kind of a bloody kids show, like Sesame Street. Even my mum didn't like that. It detracted from the horror elements, but I do like the character of the clown. And I believe the fourth one he's going to go out on a high, and that doesn't mean I hope it doesn't mean going to bloody space in the rocket ship. But yeah, as I say, I don't know why they do it. It's very, very hard to get it's very hard to get the balance right between horror and comedy. You know, not easy to do. Not many producers can do it. I can think of what, well, on one hand, movies that, you know, producers that have succeeded, like the Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. There's a good example of getting the balance between horror and comedy spot on. Case of American Werewolf in London, they did another great job as well. Again, the horror was horrific and the comedy was used, but it wasn't too excessive, you know. But yeah, they were the main two that stick in my mind is getting the balance right between horror and comedy. And we've got James F2153. Evening, Al. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you as well. Hope you're looking forward towards Christmas. Just been watching Steptoe and Son. Oh, I love Steptoe and Son. Yeah, God, they were masters of craft, weren't they? The way they remembered all those lines. Actually sitting there at the table, rolling those lines off and that, you know. Oh, God, and he went on for ages, didn't he? God, he must have spent hours and hours learning the lines and that, you know, fantastic. The way they did those scripts. One of my favourite ones is the way they have an argument and he put like a barrier. They put a barrier in the house, don't they? And Harold's on one side and the other fella's on the other side, isn't he? Albus, yeah. That's a good one, that. And the one with the machine, the playground machine and that, you know. And Harold finds out it was his dad that was in the porno, one of the porno stars. That's a good one. But having said that, there's so many great episodes of Steptoe and Son. And just the expression on the old boy's face used to crease me up. Still does crease me up, actually, when I watch it. I haven't watched it for a while. But I have to start watching. I've got the big box set of Steptoe and Son, and as I've got on the buses. So I'll have to start watching that. But yeah, Steptoe and Son, a classic. You're asking me if I'm looking forward to Christmas. Well, I am, and I'm not really. I don't know what spoils Christmas for me, guys. All the bloody hectic shoppers crowding everywhere, you know, and banging into you and that. And the bad manners seems to come out. Bad manners among shoppers seems to reach its zenith at Christmas time, you know. Oh God, you get fed up in the end. You think, even if you go out early of a morning, they're still out in the hall, snapping everything up, you know. But yeah, that's one of the main things I don't like about the run up to Christmas. You know, the crowds and that, you know, everywhere and that. I just hate it. You know, I'm not, and when you're on the bus, I was in Liverpool twice. I've been over to Liverpool on Saturday. I've been held up in the bloody Mersey. First time in the Mersey tunnel with a long traffic jam, and then the second time when I got to Liverpool, I saw Grace, no traffic jam in the Mersey tunnel. Comes out the Mersey tunnel, and there's a bloody big traffic jam going all the way around towards stairs at the top. Bloody hell, you know. So I was stuck in that for a while. You know, I'd say about 20 to 5 minutes. I don't like being stuck in bloody traffic jams. That's another pet hate of mine. But yeah, I often say to my mum and relatives, I don't think Christmas is like it used to be. And when I was a kid, I used to love Christmas and that, the annuals and that. I think I got every Christmas annual under the sun, you know, from the Beano to the Star Trek annual. It was always a treat, waking up on Christmas morning to the annuals and also the board games as well, you know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to, you know what I mean. I've got loads of movies to watch. We don't very really watch telly now, guys. Christmas. We used to go, like, you know, when the telly used to be good, used to have like good shows on, like Bruce Forsyth's Generation Game, Mike Yarwood Christmas Show. The episode where Abbott in from 1978 was one of the best ones. Yeah, all the good Christmas shows, Morecambe and Wise, the two Ronnies, they've all gone. That's all it's come down. Well, I don't know what they're putting that bloody strictly come dancing on bloody Christmas Day. That's bloody most probably recorded weeks ago. That Jules Holland as well, I believe. I believe that's recorded. Some people said months before New Year's Eve. I don't know, you know. But yeah, the telly is terrible now at Christmas. So thank God. I think what it is, guys. I think some of the some of these cheap channels, you know, there's that much to choose from. They could just stick anything on because you know, when you only had the three channels when I was growing up in the 70s, of course, later on, you had Channel 4. If it was 1982, was it? Channel 4 came out. Yeah, it's not the same. It's just I used to look forward to the Christmas Top of the Pops on Christmas Day. It used to come on at 2 till 3, and then you'd have the Queen's speech, and then you'd have Brucey on, or David Jason, Only Fools and Horses. You know, missed out of a Christmas Day. I love Only Fools and Horses. I used to looking forward to what they got up to and that, you know, for Christmas. But yeah, I don't think it's the same, guys. I mean, like, it's great. It's good. It's got its good points. It's got its bad points. But I bloody hate New Year. Don't get me started on that. If I do a song, I'm not going to pull any punches about bloody Auld Lang Syne. So I'll leave that there. But yeah, I've got a couple of nice presents in that lined up. Good films and that, a couple of good box sets, which I will be revealing, you know, once the holiday's over. But yeah, but there you go. That's just my opinion anyway. Right. And Step the Fair 8236 is saying, yes, I'm going to shock you. Evil Dead 2 wasn't a fan. All the films, I wasn't a fan of The Shining. I'm not a fan of Megan. Not a fan of Megan. Not my cup of tea, them films. I did like the first Megan. The Shining, I think, is an absolute classic. I like the remake as well with Rebecca De Mornay from I think it was 1977. That's a good one. But yeah, Evil Dead 2, again, he put elements of humour in, which I thought, you know, you've got to, as I say, you've got to be very careful when you start sprinkling humour over horror. You know, the first movie was a horrific movie, a horror one, you know, 100% horror. And then you get somebody with the bright idea to let's put a little bit of light relief in. Doesn't work most of the time, guys. I don't think so anyway. But there you go. Scroll up, guys. James is saying even the firemen had to put a penny in the turnstile. Talking about firemen, I bought a novel a couple of weeks ago when I was in Waterstones in Birkenhead. And any of you fans of Joe Hill are here, Stephen King's son. I met him in Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. He signed me, not a couple of weeks ago, a couple of years ago. He signed his copy of his novel, Horns, and I spoke to him and that, you know, and he gave me a little bit of advice on, you know, getting exposure for my work and that. But yeah, don't know what it'll be like in that. I believe it's influenced by Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is a 431 by Ray Bradbury. So I'm looking forward to watching that. I'm collecting all the Joe Hill's books and that one Nosferatu as well. That looks well. I have read it before, and I forget the story, so I bought it again. Very Christmassy story, and yeah. So I believe his latest one, King's Sorrow, I've seen. I've actually seen it, massive like that. It is. So it's out in hardback at the moment. So I'll be getting that in paperback, King's Sorrow. So if you're a Joe Hill fan, watch out for that one. While we're on the subject of Joe Hill and the Stephen King universe in general, have any of you guys got a particularly favourite Stephen King movie? Let's get a good discussion going about Stephen King and that, or indeed any other aspect of the horror genre. You know, what's your favourite Stephen King movie? What's your least favourite Stephen King movie? Yeah, I always love a good Stephen King discussion. You know, I've been a big fan of this since the 1970s. So yeah, Stephen King, yeah, anytime, yeah. Anything at all, any aspect of King's work, and indeed Joe Hill. X-Files saying, talking of British comedy, I rewatched The Plank earlier today. I was seeing that years ago, yeah. That's a silent one, isn't it? Comedy Gold with Tommy Cooper and Eric Sykes. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Do you remember the London Palladium? There was a similar thing done on there with Bruce Forsyth. Was it Norman Wisdom? They were putting decorating up. They were decorating there. The way they done it, like, it was really well choreographed, you know, making a mess of the decorating and that, you know. But that's a good one. Yeah, did that really well. very hard to do those stunts, aren't they? You know, like the Laurel and Hardy stunts and that. You know, I mustn't forget Michael Crawford. Must do it. He used to do all his own stunts and that. You know, God, he had some guts, didn't he? That one with the car, tossing on the edge of the cliff. Oh God, yeah, fantastic. Love some mothers do have them. Ooh, Betty. Ooh, Betty. James, yes, brilliant. The plank was. I saw Eric Sykes recently in those magnificent men and the flying machines alongside Terry Thomas. I remember the song of that. Those magnificent men and the flying machines. Yeah, I don't remember too much about the movie. I think it's usually shown around Christmas time, isn't it? Like Around the World in 80 Days with David Niven. That's another one. I think I've only seen that once. Phineas Fogg. Yeah, but all I know is it just goes around the world and it's bloody big hot air balloon. That's all I know about it. State of the Fair, talking about older shows. Do you remember Prison Cell Block H? Yeah, I do. And Sons and Daughters. My auntie was a big, for God rest her soul, was big fans of them. Never missed an episode. Yeah, she used to say about that plump woman in Prison Cell Block. Oh, she's a bloody swine here. I hate her. Yeah, yeah. My cousin bought the box set of that a couple of years ago. Prisoner of Cell Block H. Sons and Daughters, didn't really watch that. My auntie loved it. Neighbours. Anybody remember Young Doctors from the early? I think it started off in the early 80s, and I remember the theme tune. Couldn't really get into it, but yeah, Young Doctors was another big favourite of my auntie's. You got Kylie Minogue as well, and Neighbours and that before she started doing the I Should Be So Lucky. That I Should Be So Lucky bit, started off in Neighbours. I like Kylie; it's one of my favourites. Good dancer as well. Mark Fletcher, the quality street tasted right in those days as well. As did the Cadbury's milk trays, yeah. Yeah, the chocolate was tasted much better then. They really did, But yeah, can't beat it in the quality streets. But I don't like the toffees though. I'm not talking about Everton. Any football fans here? I'm not talking about Everton. I'm talking about the toffees and the tin of chocolates, Brian Gilson. They have just announced Salem's Lot is coming out on 4K and I can't wait to get it. That is my number one favourite one with David Soul and James Mason. No other has come even close. I did not like that bloody it was terrible. I hated it. That remake didn't even seem like a Salem's Lot story, I just didn't like it. It wasn't too keen on the Rob Lowe one with Rutger Hauer. I didn't like a return to Salem's Lot. The David Soul one is the definitive one for me. I don't care what you say. The David Soul one is the top one. So many memorable scenes. Of course, the kid at the window, let me in, And then the other vampire sitting there, I forget his name, the fella, he's been in loads of films, he's sitting in the rocking chair and he's going, preacher. Oh, God, that's scary, that scene. And of course, Barlow, the vampire, Nosferatu, Bizarre, oh yeah, I can't wait. I will be pre-ordering that as soon as it's available. Let me tell you, especially if it's got loads of features on. It's Arrow's doing it, isn't it? I think it's Arrow, isn't it? It's doing it. But regardless, I will be ordering it. Really will. And we've got Mark Fletcher. Do you remember the original Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? I've got it. Yeah. Kim Darby from 1973. Alan. That film frightened me more than anything else in my life up until I saw that. Yeah, they're in like a great auntie in the cell of the little demons and that. I've got the both versions. I do prefer that one, the Kim Darby one. Yeah. The remake's okay, but you can't beat the original. You really can't. Yeah, I love that one. One of my all-time favourite TV horror movies, that Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I think it's a fantastic movie. James is saying, I watched the old Ghost Stories for Christmas on the BBC. I've got the box set of them on the BBC from the 1970s. Some great spooky tales with Den O'Malley and Christopher Lee. Yeah, I've got the two, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Is it Criterion that's done them? I'm not too sure. I think it might be Criterion. So it had loads of special features as well. So I'm looking forward to they're doing another one as well, aren't they? What's it called? I can't remember the title, but they're doing another one as well. I think it's on about 10:30 on Christmas Eve. Yeah, so I'll be checking that out. I think the one I dislike most, guys, I don't know about you, Don't you know where they remade that one with, you know, "Oh Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad," where he finds the whistle on the beach and he takes it back to his bed and breakfast and he blows. It's an antiquated like flute whistle, and he summons a ghost in the room and sheets it, rises off the bed and sheets. But he done a remake of that with John Hayes about how long ago was it? Oh, a few Christmases ago now, and it was really boring. They messed around with the story and that. I didn't like it, so that's one of the bad ones on the collection. Didn't like it at all. No, so but the original was the best one from 1968? I think it was 1968, yeah. And of course, the original story by M.R. James is pretty frightening too. Yeah, one of the greatest ghost stories I've ever read in my life. That one, "A Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad." I like The Signal Man as well by Charles Dickens. That's a good one. Denholm Elliott, yeah, that's a good one. That. And we've got Brian saying, "I just bought the original Don't Be Afraid of the Dark on Blu-ray from eBay Spain." Yeah, good purchase, Brian. As I say, it's a good one. Now that's it's me, as I say, that's my favourite one. Kim Darby, like the in True Grit as well. Kim Darby, fine actress. Brian saying, "I still find the Ritual Woman in Black really creepy, yet especially the part in the bedroom. Oh my God, the mother of all jump scares." Yeah, I like the original one best. The one with Daniel Radcliffe ones, it's okay, but I do prefer that one. God, it jumped at me skin when I saw that. That was a jump scare that worked. When jump scares are pretty few and far between, now they're all over the bloody place. You go into the supermarket, you get a jump scare. Get out the way, I want to get me bloody Christmas selection box. Damn your ears. That's not that bad, but it's bad enough. Look, as you get a bloody shopping trolley now when you go to Tesco's or Sainsbury's. What have we got next? Vampire Jack, that bed scene. Exactly what I've been saying. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. As I say, the mother of all jump scares. That was quite a downbeat ending as well. I won't give it away in case any of you haven't seen it. Brian's saying, "It's Vampire Jack. It's the ultimate jump scare." It is the ultimate jump scare. Really is. Yeah. Tell you what is a good jump scare, guys. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it entails. If any of you have seen the movie Pieces with Linda Day George, that's a pretty good jump scare. Very more visually shocking than sound effect wise. But God, oh God, I won't say any more about that. That's the movie where she said, "Bastard, bastard." Linda Day George. Yeah, I love Linda Day George. I've done well, you must probably know if you follow me. I've done a video of it talking about how much of a fan I am of theirs and that, and all the movies and that. And a lot of the movies starred her husband, Christopher George, who was also a fine actor. But yeah, love Linda Day George. Always hunting movies down with her in. And she was in Mission Impossible as well for quite a while. Lovely lady, yeah, long blonde hair and a doll face and that. Very nice person as well, yeah. So, but yeah, love Linda Day. Mark Fletcher, I recommend a film called Hallow. Is that an Irish movie? I think I've seen that. That young couple who have their baby abducted by I've seen it, but I don't remember too much about it. By evil forest fairies, much better than it sounds. Don't hear anybody talk about it. I've seen it, yeah, a couple of years ago, but I don't remember. I do remember the young couple, but I don't remember too much about the plot. I couldn't tell you this happens and that happens and that, in order. But I have seen it, yeah. Mark saying I meant fairies, right? X-File 2708. I can't beat Stephen King movies, Macy. The likes of Cujo, Cat's Eye, Carrie, Misery, to name a few. Maximum Overdrive is very much a guilty pleasure for me. Yeah. I love Misery. Such a high rewatchability factor. Love the novel as well with Kathy Bates. Absolute classic. I would equate that with Psycho. She was a right bloody, oh God, she's really away with the fairies here, wasn't she, Annie Wilkes? I love Christine as well. The Haunted Car. That's a good one. Cujo's okay. My favourite Stephen King one though is not The Shining, Salem's Lot. I got the you guys have been following my channel. I bought the big deluxe hardback edition of that. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that. Salem's Lost Grace, Dracula. They often describe that novel. I think King himself described it as Dracula. Dracula meets Pace and Place, which I think is a very opposite description, if you ask me. Luke Q85. Yeah, I'm going to watch The Woman in Black, the original, on Christmas Eve night. Yeah, be prepared for the bedroom scene. Brian Gilson's one of my favourite Stephen King TV films is The Langoliers. So that's the one with it in the airport, isn't it? Yeah, I tried to get into that, but I got a little bit bored with it, to be honest, Brian. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. You know, I say everybody's different, aren't they? You know, The Langoliers. The story was quite long as well. See what else we've got down here. Just stop it a bit, guys. But yeah, as I say, getting back to Christmas horror movies, if you've got any in your collection, or you've watched a few Christmas horror movies that you think I might like, and you know I haven't seen, you know, let me know. You know, always on the lookout for new horror movies, like, you know, always on the eBay browsing for new titles and that, rare titles and that. You know, I did find a good website. Well, I did know about it like a couple of weeks ago, but I went on extensively the other night. It's a movie. Listen to me, a movie. I haven't even had a drink of sherry. It's a website called oldies.com. Oldies.com. And what it is, if you're looking for rare movies and that, not just horror, but any kind of movie, even CDs and that, you know, I think Books is on there as well. Just type in oldies.com and you just go to Blu-ray and DVD and you get all piles. You can sort of like narrow it down to decade, actor, genre. It's a great site. I got a couple of pickups from there. I picked some out from there. Oldies.com it's called. So just go to there. If you want DVDs or Blu-rays, it's all there, even 4Ks. I think they've got 4Ks as well. So yeah, just go along. And I ordered a movie from there called The Twilight People. Don't know if any of you've seen that one. And another one called A Naked Witch, which looks pretty pretty good. Yeah. But anyway, there you go. Oldies.com. So we've got X-File 2708, P2, good movie, and ATM, good movie. Yeah, both excellent horror thrillers set at a Christmas, matey. Yeah, I do like them. Yeah, I love my horror movies, guys, with the snowy scenes. You know, the Christmas atmosphere. Yeah, because as you all know, if you watch me, I am not a fan of summer. I absolutely hate hot weather. I can't understand why some of these radio DJs. I was listening to one the other day, guys. And he got on me wick. He was going on. He was looking ahead, and that's the next. Oh, looking ahead to next year and spring and that. Oh, the nights are going to be drawing out and that. We're getting bloody hell. We're only in bloody December. We haven't even had bloody Christmas yet. I hate these people start looking ahead. Life's very unpredictable. You don't know what's around the corner. You know, it's all right. They're saying what they're going to do, and now we're going to do this. We're going to do that in June, July. You don't know what's around. I don't want to get morbid, guys, but I'm just saying. You know, you doesn't do to look into the future too much. Take one day at a time. As Lena Martell sang, you know, one day, don't be looking ahead all the time, especially the bloody summer weather. You know, I heard on the was it the weather forecast? He said this year, it's been the sunniest year ever. So it proves again about the adverse effects, doesn't it, of that bloody global warming. But yeah, guys, I say not want to go on too much about, you know, hot weather, because you all know how much I hate. Those of you watch me channel, you know how much I prefer winter to summer, and I don't like the mild weather. And I tell you what I do hate. I hate it when it's bloody sunny and Christmas Day and warm. A couple of years ago, it was more like a bloody August day. A couple of years ago, I said to my mum, it doesn't seem like Christmas. It's like bloody August, you know, bloody warm temperature and the sun blazing out of the sky. I hate that. I would love a white Christmas. You know, I think a lot of people would like a white Christmas. You know, it gives it the atmosphere. I don't know about you guys. We've got to be like me, preferring winter and cool weather. I seem to enjoy things more in the cold weather. I enjoy my dinner. I enjoy snuggling under the blankets for a good book or a good movie. But whereas in the summer, I know a lot of you like summer, you disagree with me, but in the summer, you're drinking water, you know, your clothes and that, you don't know what to put on. You feel, you know, no matter what you do, you can't seem to feel cool and that, you know, especially when it soars and that. Oh no, give me winter any day. Yeah, but I say we're all different, aren't we? And that, but I say getting back to horror movies. I love horror movies with you know, wintry setting, and yeah, just love them. Brian's saying A Christmas Horror Story is really good, starring William Shatner. I think yeah, I have seen that a couple of years ago. I don't remember too much about it. Isn't Krampus in that? Doesn't he have a fight with Krampus? Sure, that's the one. Yeah, William Shatner. Yeah, I say I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember him being. I do remember him being a radio DJ as well. Mark Fletcher. Name some underrated monsters. I love the blind and scarred shark and the submerged tunnels. Oh, I haven't seen that one, Mark. 42 meters down, uncaged. I haven't seen that one. Never seen such an evil-looking thing. I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, haven't you done a sequel to that one? 42 meters down. Underrated monsters. Oh, let's see now. Underrated monsters. I think the first Fly movie with David Edison, you don't really get many. I mean, people have spoken about it, but not as much as it should be spoken about, because I think it's oh God, when the woman, you know, his wife, when he's in the laboratory, he's got the thing draped over his head, and she tears it off, and that he's got this big giant fly's head. Oh God, that's scary. That a very tragic one as well. So I'd say the Fly. What can I say? I tell you this underrated monster. Have you seen a movie called Horror at Party Beach? It's a bit like the creature from the Black Lagoon. It's got like these creatures coming out of the water, attacking girls and that, you know. But that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty underrated one. Horror at Party Beach. Underrated monsters. Can't think of any more at the top of my head. No. If I think in the meantime, if any comes into my head, I'll raise a subject again. Good question, though. Yeah, Luke's saying, yeah, I prefer my winters ice cold. Yeah, I do. Yeah, oh yeah. Always been a winter person. Never liked summer. Never. James saying, I have two films to watch this weekend that I've never watched before. The Legend of Hell House Night. That's a great one, that. Roddy McDowall, 1973, based on the Richard Matheson novel. And 10 Rillington Place. That's a real chilling movie, that. Oh God, Richard Attenborough, when he plays John Christie, God, you actually think it's him. You know, he's such a fantastic actor. Richard Attenborough, a great director as well. 10 Rillington Place, yeah, that's a real dark movie. That Timothy Evans goes to the gallows, doesn't he? And that, yeah, played brilliantly by John Hurt. Yeah, love that one. Love those two actually. They're great. Them fantastic movies. Got them in my collection. Mark saying, I'm with you about hot weather. Must be the Viking in me. If I could afford to move somewhere cooler, I would. Yes, same here, Mark. Yeah. Sweden would be ideal for me. The home of my favourite group, ABBA, the 70s, Sweden, yeah. Anywhere cool, really, you know. But yeah, I say fingers crossed we don't get it warm and sunny on Christmas Day. I don't could stand that. Oh. So, what any of you guys got anything good planned for the weekend? You going anywhere? Planning to pick up any movies and that? Yeah, let me know. You know, let's get a good discussion going. We've got some comments here now. State the fair. Not sure if it was you, but the film Evil Laugh really needs to see this one. I wouldn't pay the price here. It's not the best, but I saw that. I didn't like it. It's overrated. I got about 88 films. The cover looked lovely. But when I thought, well, this is a bloody bore fest, I switched it off. I didn't like it. Nah, it didn't do anything for me at all. That's another sad case of, you know, the general quality of the movie not being commensurate with the aesthetics of the outer packaging. You know, the cover art and that. Yeah, I didn't like it. No. But it's a CX. James is saying Canada's meant to be very nice, yeah, but the winter's going to be very cold. I wouldn't mind that. Brian Gilson, Mark Fletcher, Humanoids from the Deep. That's a good one, that. Yeah, Humanoids from the Deep. I was thinking that came into my mind, that. I couldn't remember the title. And Howl's a good one. The werewolves on attacking the train. That's a great one. They don't really look like werewolves, do they? They're sort of like they're like mutants, aren't they? Yeah, that's a great one, that Howl. I tell you what I have ordered, guys. I tell you what I did watch, guys. It was bloody awful. The Toxic Avenger remake. Oh my God, it must be the worst movie I've seen this year. It was bloody. I don't swear on my channel, but you know what I mean. It was a pile of excrements. You know, it was awful. Yeah, awful movie. I've ordered the 4 originals in the box sets. I'm waiting for them to come. You know, because when I first saw them, besides just splitting with laughter. You know, they're really good and that, especially the first one. So I haven't seen it for years, so I'm looking forward to revisiting them. But I didn't like that bloody remake. Another example, guys, of a pitiful a pitiful remake. You know, oh, it was awful. Hated it. And X-Files saying, yeah, I'm off out movie hunting with my lads tomorrow. Hopefully going to grab the Arrow Love and Death box set. Very good. Yeah, fantastic. I've ordered a box set. What's the name of the director? That movie's in it, Vampires, about the 2 girls. That's in it. But what's it? Is it Jose Lamas? Something like that. Anyway, you guys most probably know if they're familiar with the movie Vampires. The box set. I mean, I think it's on the Arrow. It's like a yellow and black box set. It's Jose something. I can't remember his name. It's a foreign name, so I've got that one and that for Christmas Day. That's very hard to get. That Vampires on Blu-ray. Watching some movies this weekend with a few beers. Good on you. The Kindred was a good film. I loved the VHS cover of that. The Kindred. I think I saw that a few years ago. I don't remember too much about that one, but I think I have seen that one, The Kindred. James, Alan, you're brilliant, mate. Oh, thanks very much, James. I watched your old review of the Batman. Oh, God. Again, earlier. I was in tears. You were absolutely right. A dark film by all means, but really didn't do Batman justice. I'll have to watch that again. I forgot what I said in that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've called a little bit, but what's the name for myself there for being forthright about movies if I don't like them and that. You know, we'll go further than Barry Norman ever did, further than Michael Parkinson ever did. Maybe did I say it's even further than Simon Cowell ever did? Well, there you go. That's just it. See, if I don't like I like to be honest, guys. Honesty is the best policy. I don't know about you guys, but I think I don't like falseness. I don't like falseness at all. I don't like people fawning and trying to be over nice when really they don't like, the jealous of you know what I mean, don't you? They try to be a bit two-faced and that, it's I don't want to go on too much about them. I don't like falseness. I like people to be straight, take me as I am, straight talk, and even if it is a little bit nasty, you got to where you stand with them. I had a mate a few years ago. He was very forthright. He knew there was no false veneer about him. You know exactly where you stood, and I think that's a good thing. It's no good being too sugary sweet if you're not if you're disingenuous. I don't like that sort of thing. I like, as I say, it's the same with films. I don't like people to say, if I fancy a film, I don't like them to say, oh yeah, it's a good one, but really they think it's a pile of crap. I don't like people sugarcoating things just for my benefit, in the hope that I might go and see it. I like people to say, if a movie's crap, tell me right to my face, even if you have to swear your head off. It's a load of bloody crap. Don't watch it out. That's fine. But I don't like, false being led up the garden path. I hate that. Number one pet hates in life, messed around and that, and getting this sort of like saying one thing and then another person saying another. Oh no, I don't like that. Can't be doing with people like that. But I won't go too much into that, guys. We're talking about movies, but yeah, I don't like falseness, in a nutshell. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed me review of Batman. Cheers. James saying it was along the lines of absolute garbage, but then some terrible movies over the years. I'm not really a fan of these superhero movies. I only really like there's only barely a few. I like Spider-Man are all right. Batman's all right. After that, nah, not in some Marvel universe. There's too many. Getting bloody saturated now with bloody Marvel films and that. I hate it. I'll tell you what, guys, going back to horror, and you most probably watched my video if you're a subscriber. That Conjuring movie, it was a pile of pants. It really was. I hated it. Oh, bloody! But I said, and all one of the things I hate in horror movies is bloody people spewing their guts everywhere. Oh no, horrible. You're seeing up at that bloody Saturday night outside the clubs, people spewing their guts up and that, that went out with The Exorcist, like a good solid story and that, don't like to see people, spewing their guts up or acting like bloody, horrible. Yeah. And that was just one weak point. It had many weak points. Too many bloody jump scares. He threw everything in but the bloody kitchen sink and that Conjuring ball. I think it's about time now they let it go, guys, if you ask me. I think they've laboured the point too much with that Conjuring and that. Yeah, that's it now. Don't do any more, please. Yeah, you most probably will do it. But they're thinking about the money, you see, aren't they? Yeah, loads of money. Remember him? Loads of money from the 80s. Yeah, money talks. If they create a horror character and they can say, loads of money, it's going to make me loads of money. What they do, they're going to make sequel after sequel after sequel until they wear it into the ground and there's just no substance anymore. So, but that's just my opinion, guys. It's that's the way it is in Hollywood. I think they're just milking the money machine as much as they can. It's all about money at the end of the day. You do get the impression when you watch some of these horror films, you get the impression they've just been scribbled out and just, that'll do them, just tack an ending on without giving it bloody thought. I mean, I'm a writer and I know all about creating plots and stories and that. And you've got to be like, you've got to balance your story out. So you don't throw everything in but the kitchen sink, because you're just going to bore the reader senseless. You've got to sort of like have a little bit of light relief. Say the hero's got a girlfriend, you've got to give him some time with his girl or whatever and that. If he's got like what you call subplots, if he's got a boss, he doesn't get on with his boss. Common thing, isn't it? He doesn't get on with his boss. Have that as well, sort of like have that subplot as well. But you can get too punch drunk, guys, with these, especially with these haunted house movies. They're the same old bloody boring formulaic tropes. Hearing a noise and that, seeing a figure flip past them and looking in the mirror, screaming some somewhere in the house they can't pinpoint. It's all the same old bloody formulaic rubbish we've seen it time and time and time again. And I'm fed up with it, guys, to be honest. Whenever I see you, I mean, I bought what's the name, the new Borley Rectory movie. One was in HMV with Patsy Kensis in. She's a bit older now, like, I think she's in her 50s now. But it's supposed to go back to the original story when the Reverend Bull was in. Don't know if you guys are familiar with Borley Rectory. It's supposed to be the most haunted house in England. So I've got that to watch. Most probably do a review of that, but I'm not expecting much, guys, to be honest with you. That's why I like Weapons. I thought that brought something original to the table, held me attention. I wanted to see what happened in that, what happened with the kids and that, running out of the houses and that, in the early hours of the morning. I did like Weapons. Yeah, I've actually done a review of that. But getting back to the haunted house movies, guys, they're getting a bit, to be honest, a bit like sort of like interminable, boring. He wants something different. He wanted to inject something different into them. Even the Annabelle movies that, I got after the first Annabelle, I thought to myself, going down these, but that's just my opinion. Like, we all have, as I say, keep saying it all the time. Everybody's different. We all, what one doesn't like, another might love, and that's it. That's the way it is, isn't it? Mark Fletcher, I love Deep Rising, a real fun film. I wish they had done something with a sequel. At the end of the film, the survivors end up on a possible Skull Island, Jurassic Park. Yeah, probably seen that one. X-File, hearing good things about that Stephen King's The Long Walk. Have you seen it yet, Alan? I haven't actually seen that. No, I haven't even read the story. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews of that one, The Long Walk. He wrote that when he had the alter ego, didn't he? Richard Bachman. He wrote that. Yeah, but I must probably check it out. Maybe rent it. I don't know. I'd like to ask you all a question now, guys. If you like getting back to the Hammer films and that, of all the Hammer movies, they've got to be a Hammer fan. You've got to know your Hammer films. Of all the Hammer movies, what you've watched, have you got a number one favourite? What you like out of all of them? Or there's not many good ones like me. You can't really pick a bet. You can sort of like narrow a few down that really stand out, but you can't really pick a number one of all. So yes, so say if you have got a number one favourite Hammer film, let me. I always love to talk about Hammer, and Universal. I'll be talking for hours about them guys until the cows come home. So, but yeah, if you've got a favourite Hammer film, A bad Hammer film. I've got a really bad Hammer film. The Demons of the Mind. It was a pile of utter trash. It really was. Demons of the Mind from 1972. And I wasn't too keen on The Witches as well with Joan Fontaine. Have any of you guys seen that one, The Witches? Didn't like that one either. But yeah, as I say, you know, if you're a Hammer fan and you love Hammer, discuss your favourite Hammer actors. I know mine. It goes without saying, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. You know, nobody can play Dracula like Christopher Lee. You know, yeah, fantastic. And of course, Peter Cushing, Baron Frankenstein, and that. You know, fantastic. So, yeah. So yeah, let's have a couple of Hammer related topics. State of affair. Nipping away from 10 minutes. Be back. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Mark Fletcher's asking me, do you like the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes films? Yeah, they're okay. I've got the box set of them. I can't imagine anybody else being more perfect in the role. No, he was the best one, wasn't he? When I read any of the stories, it's him. I visualize Basil Rathbone. Yeah, I tell you, I love Basil Rathbone in as well. Son of Frankenstein. I don't know if you've seen that one where he comes back to in his father's sort of like his land and that, and the monster's still there in a coma. And Igor's looking after him and that. Son of Frankenstein. It's the third and final Boris Karloff Frankenstein monster movie where he played the monster. So yeah, I love Basil Rathbone, great actor. You're right, he does play Sherlock Holmes to a T. Fantastic. Now, I presume this is in answer to me Hammer question. The first Dracula, yeah, Christopher Lee, 1958, #1 guy for me, guys. Can't beat Christopher Lee. And a box set of Christopher Lee. Captain Kronos, Quatermass in the Pit time. Yeah. Wasn't too keen on Captain Kronos, wasn't this, but I did like Quatermass. Couldn't get into Kronos. My favourite 70s Hammer would be Twins of Evil. That's a fantastic one, that. I love Twins of Evil. Fantastic. And watch out for Imprint as well, the Australian company, because they're bringing lovely editions out, albeit a bit pricey, of the Hammer films. Yeah. So I think they brought out Vampire Circus and with the sets, the box sets where you lift the lid off. Yeah. But I love Twins of Evil. Yeah. The Vampire Lovers, I love that. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, they made some fantastic films, Hammer. Lovely colour as well. More than can be said with a lot of the modern films today. You can't see what's bloody going on. Worse than being in a bloody coal mine, that bloody Conjuring movie, when they were all sitting around the table, and one of them started talking. Is that dad or mum talking? That's how bloody dark it was, Oh, yeah, I didn't like that at all, guys, that bloody Conjuring. I think that's it now. Don't make any more. Don't bore us anymore. But yeah, getting back to Hammer, can't beat them. I used to get the back in the 70s. I used to get the Hammer House of Horror magazine. Started the first issue I ever bought was 1976. I had a great picture on the front of Christopher Lee as Dracula, fighting with an adversary, great and that. Loved that series. Then it became the Halls of Horror. I think it was around about 1978. And then you'd always get the cover art was fantastic. Because you get a drawing of like a Hammer movie, like Taste of Blood of Dracula, The Curse of Frankenstein, all the Hammer classics, but I loved it. I wish I still had them all now, That yellow one, what I bought in 1976, became well adopted because I looked through that all the time, I was always looking through that one. I've got a fantastic book on the way. I don't know if I'll get it in time for Christmas. It's the Ultimate Hammer Encyclopedia. It's got everything you need to know. I mean, I've got some pretty good Hammer movie books in my collection, but this has got everything you need to know about Hammer and more. It's like an encyclopedia, even the lesser known movies, the black and white movies. It's got everything you need to know about Hammer. So I can't wait to get that. It's got a great picture of Christopher Lee on the front and his Dracula outfit and that, but oh yeah, lovely book by the looks of it. Brian's saying, my top 4 Hammer films are Twins of Evil, The Curse of the Werewolf, The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, and The Devil Rides Out. I like all of them, Brian, except The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. I've got to be honest about that. Watched it a few times. You know what I don't like about it? You must probably know what I'm going to say. I don't like the Kung Fu aspect about it. There's too much of this, you know what I mean? Kung Fu and that. Yeah, I didn't like that. Detracted from the enjoyability factor of the movie for me. Peter Cushing was, as always, a stalwart of Hammer. He was fantastic in it. He really was. You can't fault Peter Cushing, no matter what. Even if the movie's a bit crap, he lifts it up. He elevates it, you know, because he's that good an actor, from his facial expression to his mannerisms and that, you know. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but you know, whenever he played Baron Victor Frankenstein, he always made, what he used to do. You probably heard this story before. What he used to do, he used to go along to real doctors and he used to say, how do you cut, you know, really want to go into, how do you cut a limb off and that, and show me how you do it. And he used to practice, this is what I've heard, he used to practice on a cabbage and that to even get the sound effect and that, yeah. Very meticulous about that, Peter Cushing, you know. And he loved his props as well. He had loads of props, you know. I've heard that story a few times. He loved his props. He all had different props and that, you know. But, oh, yeah, fantastic. Great actor, you know. Sadly missed, you know, right up to this day, as is Christopher Lee. Luke saying, my worst Hammer would be horror. Oh, you're joking. I like Horror of Frankenstein. All right, it's not Peter Cushing, but I get a lot of fun out of that. Ralph Bates is, oh, God, he's a real, what's the name of that? He's a real psycho in that. He's worse than the bloody monster, just like Victor was in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. I love Horror of Frankenstein. Not least the fact that Veronica Carlson's in it, you know, my favourite Hammer girl. I love that one, Horror of Frankenstein. Yeah, it's great. I like the Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell as well, because the part where Peter Cushing went the monster. I don't spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. You might want to lower the volume. When the monster's destroyed and he just calmly sweeps up. Oh well, we can start again and that, you know, just casual about it. That's how screwy you'd become by that time and that, you know. Yeah. So, but yeah, I love all the Cushing. I love all the Cushing Frankenstein films. I love all the Lee Draculas. Yeah. So there you go. Another aspect I don't like about these modern films, guys, I don't like the bloody flashbacks in them. When you go back, you're getting to the story. It starts off lying here, and then you get bloody flashbacks of, I don't know, 1950 on and that, when you were a little lad or a little girl, and it comes forward again, then it goes back again. Oh no, I don't like that at all. That's why the story's out of sequence. That's why I didn't like that Strange Darling. I didn't like the story out of sequence, and I hated that, you know, and going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and that. Now, don't like that at all. That's what Hammer like, you know. They did a good story, and most of the time it was lying here. You know, Dracula be resurrected and that, and he terrorized the village. Frankenstein would go back to his old lab and he'd start creating a new monster. It was all lying here, if you know what I mean. None of this chop backwards and forwards, jumping backwards and forwards. Oh no, I don't like that, guys. I hate it in novels as well. When you do it in novels, like, you know, going flashbacks and coming forward and going back again. Oh no, does me bloody head in that. Anyway, moving on. X-File 2708. Talking of Hammer, my local CEX has the Indicator box set of the two Robin Hood films. Are they worth? Not pussy on them. They're one of the few Hammer movies I don't like. I'm not a fan of Robin Hood. I did watch the old TV series with Richard Green when I was you know, back in the day when I was a young boy. But no, I won't be getting them. Sword of Sherwood Forest and that. Now, even the Pirates Hammer films, they're all right, but I'm not really an avid fan of them. I prefer the Draculas, the Frankensteins, Reptile, Mummy, all them. Don't like those other minor ones. But do know a lot of people like them. Vampire Jack saying Twins of Evil is damn good. It certainly is, yeah. Love Twins of Evil. But as I say, Imprint, watch out for Imprints, because they're doing like they're releasing some fantastic titles. They really are. Australian company. Mark saying, if you could have just one item from any Hammer film for Christmas, anything, what would it be? Does that include Veronica Carlson? Oh no, it shouldn't say that. God rest her soul, yeah. Oh, she was a beautiful girl, she really was. You can't have Callum Munro. Oh, Callum Munro, still with us, but there you go. From Captain Cronos, because she's mine. I saw Callum Munro real in Liverpool. I went to the HorrorCon a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to speak to her. But lovely lady, yeah, nice person as well. And that she beats on talking pictures a lot, doesn't she, Callum Munro? Oh yeah, she's an icon of British cinema. She is. A lot. Tell you what I love there in Dracula AD 1972, where I think she's the part with it in the church, all the 70s young things and that, and then they revive Dracula, don't they, in the church, and from what I can remember, she sacrificed and she put all the blood all over her chest and her neck, all goes all down. Oh yeah, that's a great one. That Dracula AD 1972. I know Christopher Lee he expressed reservations about playing Dracula in the modern times. So no. I don't think it, the way he used to go, like when he got interviewed, don't think it worked and all that, But I like Dracula AD 1972. Satanic Rites of Dracula was okay. That was more of a I thought that was more of a James Bond meets Dracula kind of movie. I don't know what you guys think. Do you share my opinion that the Satanic Rites of Dracula was more of a kind of a James Bond? You didn't really see much of Dracula, but I love the climax at the end when he's standing there and that, and it's saying like in his sepulchral voice what he says and that, One small problem with that, again, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, the way Dracula was dispatched. Do you seriously think that the Lord of the Vampires would deliberately run without fear of consequence into a hawthorn bush that would tear off to shreds and then collapse on the ground just in front of your adversary, Van Helsing, ready with the stake to deliver the customary coup de grace in the chest? I don't think so. Dracula's supposed to be a powerful being, isn't he? He can turn into mist, he can turn into a bat. Didn't really see much of that. That's one thing I wondered about the Christopher Lee, as much as I loved them. Never ever saw him turn into a bat like Lugosi did. He'd sort of like go like that with his hands, wouldn't he? And he'd sort of like metamorphose into this bat and that, just go like a bat and flying away and that. Love that part, by the way, in Frankenstein meets the Wolfman when he's turned into a bat and the Wolfman grabs him off the bat and he falls off the balcony. Yeah, the scene I mean, guys. Abbott and Costello be Frankenstein, yeah. But yeah, never saw Chris. I did in Scars of Dracula. He crawled down the castle, didn't he, like a human lizard? But as I say, I never ever saw him turn into mist. He has been surrounded by mist, obviously, when he's been resurrected. Never actually saw him turn into a bat. So I wondered, like, they made him a bit more physical. But yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. But that didn't detract from the enjoyment of the counts. Yeah, fantastic. He was the best Dracula. No one can beat Christopher Lee. I don't think anybody ever will either, Provided me with loads of pleasure in the 70s when he used to stay up on Friday nights to watch and Saturday night when he had the double bill. Remember that? In the 70s when they showed a Hammer film and he showed an old black and white one. But yeah, can't be Christopher Lee for playing Dracula. Right, moving on. Yeah, so getting back to this question, what Mark's just put to me, if you could have just one item from any Hammer film for Christmas, anything, what would it be? Oh, well, I don't know whether I'd like Christopher Lee's vampire cloak, because I believe that's really heavier than it looks, because Veronica Carlson said in an interview, you wouldn't believe, she said, how heavy that cloak was, what Christopher wore when he portrayed Dracula. It's heavy. Yeah, I think he put it on his shoulders and said, oh, God, it's heavy in that. So I could rule that out. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'd like from a Hammer film. Prop. Maybe a program. A shooting script. I don't know. No. Luke saying Dracula's cape. Yeah. Vampire Jack, one of the twins from Twins of Evil. Oh, just one. Naughty boy. Back now, what's your thoughts on films like Cannibal Holocaust? They're okay, but they can be. I don't like the animal cruelty in some of them. Don't like that. Draw the line there. But I've got quite a few cannibal. I've got quite a few cannibal movies in my collection. A couple on 4K. But I don't like animal cruelty in any kind of movies. Yeah, so draw the line there. But they're okay. They're not among my favourites. Like Hammer and Universal. They're right up the top. Them, as you know, they're okay. As long as the story's good. I don't mind them. Brian Gilson, Captain Kronos is one of my favourite films too. Do you like At the Earth's Core with Peter Cushing and Doug McClure? I saw that back in the 70s. It's like a kind of an adventure movie, isn't it? Like King Kong. It's okay. I'm glad you like Captain Kronos. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Like, it didn't do anything for me, but I'm glad you like it. Mark Fletcher saying, I think AI, artificial intelligence, will destroy Hollywood. It won't be too long before you'll be able to describe to your computer the sort of film you want to see and who would be in it. And seconds later, you'll be seeing it. Yeah, it's getting more and more common. It's like artificial intelligence, isn't it? I noticed that. Even when you buy new novels, you don't know if the authors really wrote them from his mind or he's just patched things together. So I think it's got its disadvantages. That, although I do think some of the films are quite good. You think they were the real thing and that, but having said, it's got its disadvantages. Excuse me, it's got its disadvantages, guys. In regards to 3D, I've never been a great fan of 3D. Not into that. Never ever had any desire whatsoever to get a 3D television set. None whatsoever. No desire. So I've had a couple of movies without the 3D specs. I've just thrown them in the bin. You've got to have a 3D telly anyway, haven't you? But yeah, not into 3D at all. No. Remember those bloody horrible tellies as well about years ago? They used to curve like that. But bloody hell, what would you pay money? What would you pay? I wouldn't have one of them for nothing. The screen wasn't flat. They sort of curved around like that. I think they've gone out of what's the name now, haven't they? They've gone out of production. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't fancy them at all. Good old flat screen for me. That does me. Mark Fletcher, who was the best voice for horror? Vincent Price, yeah, Vincent Price. There's a lot of good voices in horror. Christopher Lee, Boris Karloff. I like Lon Chaney Jr. Yeah, he's got a good voice. Yeah, Peter Lorre. But you're right about Vincent Price. He's got, oh God, it is very, very hard to take off. It really is, yeah. Really is. Especially that when he does the Michael Jackson, the voiceover about creatures crawling, search your blood. Very, very hard to take off. But Vincent Price was an absolute, he's an absolute icon, wasn't he, of horror fiction, horror movies and that, But yeah, great actor, still sadly missed, just like all the other ones. And Step at the Fair. Remember Dr. Terror on BBC back in the early 90s? I do remember it, but I never watched one single episode, believe it or not, because some people said it was a comedy, so that put me off. They used to show 2 horror films back to back. Used to be a lot of Hammer ones. Then later was more modern ones. Yeah, I've never seen that Dr. Terror. Was it kind of like, what's the name? Was he kind of like a framing character? Like the Crypt Keeper, he'd introduce an episode, then he'd come at the end and come out with a pun. Never seen it, no, so I can't comment. Brian Gilson, I love Dr. Terror. I watched them all the time. Yeah, as I say, alien to me. Never ever watched it. Yeah, Set at the Fair. I never got round to the second film. I was only young at the time, yeah. Tell you what, a modern movie that I'm looking forward to watching, guys. I bought it a couple of weeks ago on HMV. A movie called The Astronauts. Have you guys seen that? From what I can gather from the trailers I've watched, it's about this female astronaut. She goes up into space or something on some sort of mission. And when she comes back to Earth, she brings something with her, something very dark and malevolent. So I don't know. I watched the trailer. I get kind of like, admittedly, it got a couple of haunted house tropes in it, things getting moved around the house and that without any visible explanation. But I've got it there. I might watch it. I might watch it over the weekend and do a review of The Astronauts, it's called. So I'll watch that and, as I say, do a review of it. Right, guys, it's 10 o'clock now. I'm going to be on till 10:30, if that's okay. So, yeah, so again, anything at all you'd like to talk about pertaining to horror, this is a strictly superhero-free zone. Yeah, horror. Yeah. But having said that, I'm not averse to anybody talking about good 70s shows like Steptoe Man About the House, shows like that. Anybody remember a show called Champions from 1960, late 1960s with Alexandra Bastido and Stuart Damon? That was a great show. That they got these, they sort of like 3 characters, like central characters, and they developed superpowers and that when you're in Tibet, and different things happen to them every week. And that, the Champions, Alexandra Bastido was another big pin-up lady of mine, lovely lady, So yeah, the Champions, yeah. The Avengers. My favourite one was Diana Rigg. She was my favourite one. Wasn't too fussy on it, Linda Thornton, but I love Diana Rigg. All those old 70s, 60s, 70s shows, yeah. Got quite a few of them on box set, you know, all the carry-on films and that. But yeah, as I said, but the main subject is horror naturally. But as I say, having said that, if you want to talk about other shows, I'm fine. But try to keep the Marvel to a minimum. You know, I don't want to be bored by Marvel. Constant talk about Marvel. But there you go. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some horror films that I've watched lately that stood out. A lot of them, quite a few have been crap, you know, so not worth a mention. I'd say The Conjuring was rubbish. I've got the Jesters to watch. I've got to watch them. I've got quite a few for Christmas, you know, sent off for and that, you know. That was a good one. The Diabolical Dr. Z. I've done a review of that from was it 1964 or 65? That's a great one, that. Diabolical Dr. Z. Lovely edition as well. Nice slipcover. But you've got to like your black and white. You've got to like your black and white horror movies to get some, you know, to have a blast watching it. You know, if you don't like 1960s you know, black and white horror, I don't think it'll be for you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that Seance Lost coming out on 4K. You know, the Arrow set. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so hopefully get some good ones out in the new year. You know, some to look forward to. And that Werewolf Woman, that's what I'm going to be getting. I think that's out round about January or February. Werewolf Woman. I haven't seen that one. Always on the lookout for Paul. Any Paul Naschy fans here? Always on the lookout for movies of it. You know what he's done and that. You know, anything like that. You know, I know he's made a couple of takes as well, but he's also by the same token he's made quite a few good horror movies and that. You know, granted a lot of them are in foreign, but you get the subtitles. So yes, so we've got half an hour, guys. I've enjoyed it anyway, but you know, really like coming back and that. Great to you know, have another stream on Thursday night and that. Yeah, I enjoy talking about movies and that, and books, of course. We've got Set of the Fair. Yes, I never got around to the second film. Was only young at the time. Okay. Vampire Jack. You've seen Del Toro's Frankenstein or that new Dracula. I've actually ordered the Frankenstein Del Toro on eBay, a Chinese version, a Chinese company. I don't fancy it. I watched the trailer of that new Dracula. I think it looks a bit too much like the Gary Oldman one, which I hated. I absolutely hated that pile of rubbish. I hated it. Really hated it. No, yeah, Del Toro's Frankenstein. I sent off for that. Made up to get it like on eBay, but I had to send off for abroad, like, you know, that new Dracula. I most probably will. Excuse me. I most probably watch it, like, but I most probably rent it. A lot of Dracula stories have been really, really bad the last couple of years. That 3-part one the BBC did, that was bloody abysmal. That, oh my God. How could they put that on over Christmas? It was bloody rubbish. It was in 3 parts. I mean, you guys seen it. Then there was another one as well, what they made in America. That was even worse. That one. Was it Jared Butler that was in it? Anybody know an actor called Jared Butler? Is it Jared Butler? I think he took Dracula off. Didn't even look like Dracula. You know, I like Dracula to look like Dracula. And by that, I mean, you know, the sort of like the black cloak, you know, the teeth, the piercing eyes, like Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee personified everything about Dracula, what I wanted and more, you know, none of all his top hat rubbish and that, and, you know, being a poster boy and that, poster boy rubbish and that, and having hurt feelings and that, and having a bad upbringing and that, you know, domestic problems and all that, you know, make you feel sorry for him. No, we don't want that in a horror movie. You know, Twilight and that, not into all that. I like me Dracula to be demonic and scary like he was in the Bram Stoker novel. The original novel by Bram Stoker is an absolute monster. Granted, he started off like an old man, but the more blood he drank, he got more youthful and more powerful. And but yeah, I like me Draculas to be real monsters, you know, traditional monsters, not like all this slushy crap what some of these producers continue to perpetuate. You know, I like me Draculas to be Dracula. But yeah, I don't fancy that new. I most probably watch it, like, but I don't think I'll be paying out bloody £15 for the Blu-ray. Brian's asking me, have you seen an anthology series from the 1970s called Supernatural? Now, it's funny you should say that, because I did have quite a few of them. I bought quite a few of those series about a year or two ago, and a few of them I didn't like, so I got rid of. And I think among them was one called Supernatural. Is that the one where there's a woman, a real creepy one? The woman's crying in the house, and you don't know where she is, crying. This couple around this house, and in the middle of the night, this woman sobbing. Is that the one you mean? Because if that's the one you mean, I've kept that one in my collection. But you can get mixed up with them, Bri. You know, you can sort of like, they overlap, don't they, sometimes, and that, you know, because you think, oh, was that in that episode? Oh, no, it was in that episode. Tales of Unease is a good one. Kept that one in my collection. There's only a few stories on it. Tales of Unease, that's a great one. I think that's on the Network label. But yeah, if it's the one you mean, that might very well be the one where the couple, the woman's sobbing in the middle of the night. It's creepy, that one. Yeah. And then there's another one as well where there's this a group of people, they have a Christmas meal in a secluded house in the country, and there's something in the room. Something happened years ago in one of the rooms, and they go into the room and they get trapped in the house and they die. That might be, again, that might come under the banner. I don't know. I'd have to look at my TV box sets in the cupboard and that. But I do love those old 70s. There's another one called Leap in the Dark, but that was primarily more centered on factual horror and paranormal. Do you remember that one, A Leap in the Dark? Yeah, that was quite. I remember watching. I watched bits of it when I was a kid, and that. I thought some of it was a bit disturbing, and that. You know, when you got into exorcism and possession and that. You know, so it's a bit of a. You know, what's the name for me? That, you know, it's a bit. You know, so unsettling that. But yeah, A Leap in the Dark. Yeah, but yeah, there's been loads of it. Good. I do wish, while we're on the subject of TV series, there's what I've said it before. There's one series I would really love someone to get hold of, get the rights, and do a complete lovely box set of it. And that is Journey to the Unknown from Hammer. It's a fantastic series. You've got the likes of Dennis Waterman in. It always started off with like a creepy whistling tune, and you get like a fairground and that, you know. And some fantastic stories in it. I was enthralled watching that. It's like Hammer House of Horror, you know, from 1980, the series from 1980, just like that. Only it's like with different stories again, and having like top actors appear. That Dennis Waterman one where he falls in love with a mannequin, and the one there's a woman gets trapped in a library, and this Russian ghost stalking her. She gets locked in the library. That's a good one. But yeah, so if there's any boutique labels watching, I'd try and get the rights for Journey to the Unknown from Hammer, and get a good release. I think there's about 16 or 17 episodes. It could be more, but they are available on YouTube. But the picture quality leaves a lot to be desired. But yeah, Journey to the Unknown, I would love to see that. And I'd also love to see Tales from the Crypt get, you know, the series get a decent Blu-ray release. I've got the DVDs, but the picture quality is not very good. You can see it, but I would like a Blu-ray box set of Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, but you never know. One day they might do it. Here's hoping. Brian's saying it could be that one. It has Jeremy Brett, Billy Whitelaw, and Denholm Elliott. Yeah. It rings a vague bell. Mark's asking me, did you ever watch the Penny Dreadful TV series? No, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I highly recommend it. Top-notch acting, lots of Vex and silence, loads of monsters and Eva Green. Isn't Frankenstein in it, and Dracula? Yeah, I'll have to check that out, as long as the stories aren't too far-fetched, you know. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So I'll be up for another 20 minutes then, guys, and I'll finish for the night, go and get myself some supper. But yeah, anything at all you'd like to discuss on that, you know, pertaining to horror, you know, anything at all, just feel free to broach the subject. Leaving horror films aside for a moment, I don't know how many of you people are watching tonight are readers, but if you are, have you got a favourite horror novel of all time? Your favourite, you know, number one horror novel, what you go to again and again, and the one that really scared you? Mine must be The Rats by James Herbert. I first read it in 1974. Oh my God, was it a gory read? It was a real gore fest. It was a fast-paced novel. You could see here, but it was like his sort of like is in his sort of like his infancy, his incipient stage of his career. And this novel, as he continued, his novels got more bulkier and bulkier and more complex than that, you know. But it wasn't bad for the first steppers, you know. I believe it was rejected by 5 publishers and it got accepted by the 6th one. Just done it in his spare time. He's written as an art director, in, you know, in an agency, and he thought he'd write a book. And I like the sequel as well. It wasn't published on Domain, but I would say The Rats by James. I would also American. If you wanted me to cite an American, my favourite American horror novel, I would definitely say again Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Absolutely fantastic story and a good rendition of the Dracula narrative. You know, of course, Misery, The Shining. You know, all great works of horror literature. I like the short stories. Well, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. That's a real creepy story, that. But yeah, there's been so many, but they're the main ones. Yeah. So yeah, if you like reading horror, let's talk about some horror books and that. You know, any books, authors, what you like. I like Ramsey Campbell, my fellow Merseyside writer. He's written some pretty good ones. He wrote a really good short story a few years ago. I think it was called A Companion, where this guy goes to this fairground and that, and he gets on this ghost train as a figure comes and sits behind him in the car. It's real creepy, that The Companion. But he's very much Lovecraftian, Ramsey Campbell. He writes a lot of stories like, you know, H.P. Lovecraft. Stories like that with a lot of Lovecraftian theme, because he did admire H.P. Lovecraft. And talking of H.P. Lovecraft, I've got an absolutely fantastic one that I put away for Christmas Day, the new Reanimator on 4K. I love that movie. I really loved it. Herbert West, it's great. Based on a H.P. Lovecraft story. Great movie. I first watched it when I first got my VHS player in 1986, and I was like blown away by it. It's fantastic. The green liquid, you know, he's the closest to Frankenstein. You know, out of all the mad scientists, you know, a lot of people say he's the guy. And I would tend to agree with that. I like The Bride of the Reanimator as well. It wasn't as good as Reanimator, but I did like that. And the Reanimator, when he's in prison, Beyond Reanimator, that's quite a good one. But I like the first one the best. Yes, I'm looking forward to opening that on Christmas morning, and the special features and the big book as well. State the Face asking me, when will you stream again? Just when I've got time and that, you know, I can find a night. You know, it usually be a Thursday, because like I do a lot of writing and that, you know, and doing different things and that, you know, sort me movies and that, you know. So at the moment, I'm trying to make more space. My films are piling up and that, you know, so I'm trying to make more space for them and that, you know. So hopefully maybe it's sometime in the new year, you know. Yeah. Thanks for turning up anyway, guys. I've really enjoyed talking to you all again. Mark Fletcher saying Guy N. Smith's Night of the Crabs and its sequels are fun. I read them avidly when I was a teenager back in the 70s. I loved the Night of the Crabs. I'm glad you brought him up. I bought he started to reissue some of his old titles from the 1970s and 1980s, and I wasted no time in ordering the werewolf books. Never read them right through, believe it or not. So I've got them lovely pristine covers and that, you know, lovely artwork. Yeah. So I've ordered them. I might order the Crabs as well. But the only thing is, I don't like the covers. Don't like the covers on them at all. They're awful compared to the 70s covers. I don't know what they were thinking when they'd done those covers, but they're very, very off-putting. But yeah, love the werewolf ones, and that's really great to get them. So there you go. Luke Q85, The Exorcist is my favourite novel. I found it more creepy than the movie. The novel is quite creepy. I've read bits of it, like, you know, picked her up in Waterstones, and what she does in that, you know, in the novel is far more, you know, more sort of like explicit than in the movie and that, you know. But yeah, William Peter Blatty, The Exorcist, yeah, and that first cover, you know, when he first done it in 1974, and when I went into one of the shops in Birkenhead and I seen the cover, oh my God, that's a spooky cover, that. It's got like the black cover and the letters and Reagan's face all blurred and that. Oh God, real spooky cover, that. They're going to do it again, aren't they, with Scarlett Johansson? Whether they'll improve on the other one, the last one, I don't know. Remains to be seen, doesn't it? You can only make so many of those movies again, and they start getting the same old thing, don't they? you know, you've got to sort of like think of something different. But I tell you what, I am enjoying. I've spoke about this on Facebook. The Housemaid. It's a fantastic story. Without giving too much away, it's about this girl. She's being in prison, this young girl, and she's looking for a job, and she gets this job working as a housemaid for this rich couple. You know, the husband's like really handsome, and she gets a crush on him. And the wife, she's a bit of a nutcase, you know, she's a bit of a hot head that goes off her head and that, you know. And there's also the subplot of a gardener, a very hunky gardener, which the main girl fancies as well as the husband. So a lot of things start going on in this book, what you just don't expect. So I can't wait to see The Housemaid. Yeah, but I won't be going to the pictures to watch it. I'll probably rent it out on DVD or Blu-ray and that, you know. But it's a great story by Frida McFadden, and she's written 2 sequels as well, plus a short story about this character called The Housemaid. So it's great. Really finished it now, guys. So can't wait to see the movie. I like reading the novel first, guys, and then seeing the characters come to life on the screen. I don't know about you guys. Do you like to read the novel first and then watch or vice versa? But I always prefer to read the novel first and then watch the characters come to life, like I do with Stephen King's books, you know. But it's one of the best books I've read in a long time, The Housemaid. It's great, it really is. Nice, simple story, not too many characters in it. And if you're into your horror fiction, get yourself a copy of The Housemaid. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I can't wait to see what happens at the end. Of like on the edge of my bloody seat. Yeah, great. Frida McFadden knows how to put a good thriller together. Fantastic. Yeah, so The Housemaid, highly recommended. Mark Fletcher saying Ramsey Campbell's short story, The Chimney, just right for Christmas. Yeah, I don't remember too much about that. I read that around about 1983. In his Dark Companions book. I remember The Chimney and Christmas, the Christmas narrative. Yeah. Written loads of stories, Ramsey, hasn't he? Mark Fletcher, yes, those covers are terrible. Yeah, which is referring to the Guy and Smith crap covers. Yeah. Mark's asking me, did you see the Strain TV series? I did actually. I didn't continue. No, didn't do anything for me. I was expecting to be entertained. I don't know. I found it a bit of a damn squib, you know, so I didn't continue. He made 3 series, didn't he? I'd tell you another TV series I didn't like. I only watched 2 of the episodes. That Dexter, didn't like it. Didn't like it. I thought it was boring. The character was dull. The story was really lackluster. I thought to myself, oh no, I don't like this. So I got rid of that. But my cousin likes it. Like she said, like it, but no, so it wasn't for me. No, so as I say, everybody's different, aren't they? Brian Gilson, would you ever do a watch along video? I'm not really into watch along videos. I just like to do the streams. Yeah, I'm not really into that. I just like to watch my films on my telly at home and that, you know. Don't really not really into the watch along. No. So I know some people like them and that, yeah, but it's fine, but not for me, that. But yeah, as I say, that Dexter, it's I was bored senseless watching that. Yeah, it really was. I put a movie on last night. Don't know if you guys have seen it. It was an old movie called The Picture of Dorian Gray, starring Angela Lansbury and George Saunders. Within the space of 20 minutes, there was just talk, 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 talk. Put it off. I've got the novel as well. I don't know if the novel will be any better, but it was written by Oscar Wilde. You must probably get, some of you guys might be familiar with it. The Picture of Dorian Gray. But yeah, whether I'll go back to it or not, I don't know. You know, I'll have to see, like, you know. But yeah. Brian's asking me, do you watch your horror movies with your mum? And my mum love watching them together. Yeah, my mum likes horror movies. That my dad, God rest his soul, was a big horror fan. Most of my family like horror movies. Watch the odd one with my cousins and that, you know. And in the past, I've had 1 or 2 friends around watched with me and that, you know. Not everybody likes horror though, do they? You know, it's some people like westerns, some people like war movies. It's a quiet taste, really, isn't it? Yeah, I've even watched horror movies on my own. You know, in going back to when I lived with my nan, back in the when I was a kid, and that, you know, lived with my nan for a couple of years. The old black and white telly. She used to we should have the Universal horror movies on. Sometimes she'd stay awake and watch. She'd stay awake, but she'd fall asleep. So I'm going to bed now, and my auntie as well, and that, you know. But then I'd stay up watching them and that, you know, on my own in the kitchen and that, you know. But yeah, never bothered me. That, you know, I thought they were creepy, but they never really played on my mind and that, you know. It's I regarded them more as like adventure stories with a dark twist to them and that. And I love the makeup. I love the makeup of the monsters as well, you know, especially the Karloff makeup with the square head and the, you know, the nuts coming out of the neck and that, you know, and then the Christopher Lee. Well, Christopher Lee did terrify me, I must admit. I couldn't watch him for years. When I've said it before, guys, I mean, I won't labour the point, but, you know, when I first saw him in the first Dracula, God, I nearly crapped my pants when I first saw him. When he started off like an ordinary man in a cloak and that, welcoming Harker to his house, and then he turned into this, you know, raging demon and that on the stairs and that, you know, hissing and that. Oh my God! Well, I believe like when the people first saw him, my mum said to me when they first saw Christopher Lee come down the stairs with his eyes blazing red, they all screamed in the cinema. Yeah, because nobody had ever seen anything like that before. Dracula, everybody was used to Bela Lugosi, weren't they? You know, he didn't have any teeth, did he? Just sort of like hypnotized, like, you know, come here, and all that. But then you saw Christopher Lee was like demonic. He brought a demonic aspect to the character, didn't he? You know, but yeah, yeah, I watched them alone, watched them with my mum. Friends come around, watch them with them. You know, cousin pops in now and again. Might put something on for it to watch. She likes the stories about the, you know, the true ghost stories, the Amityville and that. You know, fascinated by them. So you watch them. But yeah, I've watched horror movies in all kinds of circumstances. My fondest memories of though, as I said before, are watching that double bill, the late night double bill in the late 70s, early 80s, when they show on a Saturday night, they'd show an old one, then they'd show a Hammer one. Yeah, probably if you guys are like me, holding up as old as me, you remember. Mark Fletcher, did you like Sapphire and Steel? That was the series with David McCallum and Purdy and Shaw's. No, didn't like it. Didn't do anything for it. I never watched it. Like Blake Seven, no, bored me to tears. I can roll off a couple of TV shows, guys, that I would never touch with a barge pole. Space 1999, I didn't like that. Sapphire and Steel, I didn't like that. The Krypton Factor bored. Oh, Krypton Factor was bloody awful. That really bored me. Gordon Burns. Trying to think. Yeah. Wasn't too keen on Gladiators. Saturday night, didn't like that. UFO, didn't like that. Thought that was bloody boring. I was a big fan when I was going back when I was a young boy, 7 or 8. I liked the Thunderbird and Stingray. Thought they were great, the puppets. And I always wanted to be a puppeteer myself. I wanted to get my own puppets and do my own puppet show, you know. Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons was a big favourite of mine. Like that, Captain Scarlet. I had the figures of them. You know, Captain Blue and Captain Scarlet and all the Mysterons. And I had all that. But yeah, TV series and that, you know, a lot of rubbishy ones as well as a lot of good ones in the 70s. But yeah, I wasn't too fussy on them. Although I liked them in Danger Man, Patrick McGowan, I didn't like him in The Prisoner. I thought that was a weird bloody programme. And if you guys remember that, The Prisoner, set in the village in Wales, yeah, I always remember him saying over and over, I will resign, or I'm not resigning. But I always remember saying about resigning. But yeah, they make on top of the tail of that, guys, that Prisoner. I used to watch Gilligan's Island a lot. Remember Gilligan's Island? That was quite good. And the Beverly Hillbillies, I used to like that. Roald Dahl, Tales You Expect. I've got the box set of that. I love that series. Go back to that anytime. My favourite one of my favourite ones is the one with Pamela Stevenson in, where she's on holiday with a boyfriend and his fella. Meet this fella, rich fella. He's got like, you know, dressed in white, and he offers them a challenge, but he's got a lighter, the boyfriend, and he says like, I'll bet you. He bets his car, I think, but he has to sacrifice his finger, you know, because if the lighter doesn't strike, he loses his finger. That's a great one, that. Good twist as well. Yeah, Brian Clements' Thriller, that was a big favourite of mine. I love that. That's another series I'd like to see on Blu-ray, guys. Brian Clements' Thriller ran in the early 70s. There's one of my favourite ones, and that is one with Donna Mills in called One Deadly Owner, where she buys this big posh car. It's haunted. There's been a murder committed in the car. If you haven't seen that series, check it out. I'd love to see that get a Blu-ray release. But yeah, one of my favourites in that. Yeah, I used to watch The Baron as well. Steve Forrest and Sue Lloyd. I like that as well. Big fan of the Goodies. I used to be in Stitch. No one could stand them. So those bloody idiots on again riding the bike. Love the Goodies. Yeah. Remember the Christmas record they made? Was it 1975? They never heard and I think it was a double A side. Oh God, what was it? Make a Daft Noise for Christmas and Father Christmas, Do Not Touch Me. Awarenesses. The Goodies, yeah. It was mad on them, the Goodies. I like Monty Python as well. Monty Python's fine. My mum didn't like them. She likes more the down to earth. You mean my dad used to be in stitches after them now, but my mum said, "Oh, it's stupid these." She likes more the down to earth, like Bread, with Joey in, and Fools and Horses, David Jason, yeah. But that's what I say. There's been some great TV series, and by the same token, there's been some real dire ones, yeah. Mark saying, I don't think today's generation will ever experience the sensation and fun we had when we were kids watching horror films. It's a shame. Yeah, there's that much getting done now, isn't there? You get punch drunk, you get jaded. I've seen all this before. Yeah, get jaded. Brian saying, New Year's Eve live stream would be great, bringing the new year, talking about horror movies. Yeah, we've got to take into the fact that I bloody hate New Year. But you never know. But I think I might do that spook song to the tune of All Lang Syne. So watch this space. I enjoyed doing the 12 Days of Christmas. Any of you guys watched that? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was pretty well done? Let's know before we head off. I know it did go down well, but a lot of the guys who are members of the channel. But if any of you guys on now would like to comment on it, feel free to do so. You've got about just under 5 minutes to go before I finish and whiz off for some supper. It's been great being back anyway, guys. I really enjoyed it, and all going well in the new year. I'll be back again with another Alan Scouser live stream. So I'd say, if you've got any plans for the Christmas and that, I hope it goes well for you and that, have a nice peaceful Christmas and that, and don't get too drunk. But hope you manage to watch some good movies and that, have a nice time, nice peaceful one. And you get everything I hope Santa brings you everything what your heart's desires and that, but you can't include Callum Munro because she's mine. Yeah, but yeah, as I say, guys, I've enjoyed it. Really had a blast tonight coming back and talking to all you guys about my number one favourite subject, horror movies. And if you, I say this all the time, if you go Blu-ray hunting or DVD hunting over the weekend or any of the days leading up to Christmas, I hope you manage to get some bargains, because bargains is a great thing, isn't it? When you're a film buff and you come across a great bargain, and especially when it's intact and that, it's got the booklets and that. Because I know there's been a few cases where people have bought movies from some retailers and they've been disappointed when you've opened it up. There's either been a crack, the disc has been damaged, or the booklet's missing. It's happened to me once or twice. The booklet's been missing out the bookcase. Very, very annoying. But yeah, as I say, you never know. And I hope the new year we get some good releases. Well, that's Salem's Lost. I'd definitely be up for that. Because I love Salem's Lost. It's watch that anytime. It's my favourite Stephen King story. And but yeah, as I say, keep your eyes open and that. Any rare horror movies, what you think, I haven't seen, let me know about them and that, because I do watch you guys, the guys you do your pickups and that, and see what you bought, and thought to myself, I might try that one. I'm sure you do the same when you watch my pickups and that, which I love doing. I love bringing the movies to your attention just as much as you guys like bringing your movies to our, my attention and other YouTubers. It's a great thing. So I've really enjoyed doing my YouTube and that. I've been on here a few years now. I've made some great friends and that. I say I know 1 or 2 times when I first started off, there's a couple of shall we say, brainless morons, but that's a part and parcel thing, isn't it? You know, we just dismiss the trolls and that, you know, they don't exist. Yeah. Okay, then, guys, I'm going to whiz off now. So before I go, I'd just like to wish you all a very, very happy Christmas. Enjoy everything in that, you know, take care, enjoy yourselves. And as I say, all going well, fingers crossed. I'll try and get back sometime in January for another Alan Scouser Thursday night live stream. So take care, have a nice weekend, and have a very, very Merry Christmas. And don't forget to get your Christopher Lee box set. Bye, take care.